Hey homies, it's me again, and I got some pretty cool stuff to talk to you guys about. Kind of been thinking about the whole idea that there's a lot of destruction going on in the world right now, and simultaneously there's construction going on in the world. The construction going on is radical. It's a new paradigm. It's a new way of being in our bodies and a new way of interacting with one another and ourselves. And while things are being destroyed and certain systems are falling apart, things that aren't high enough vibration to sort of stick around on this planet that's ascending. And we're seeing a lot of darkness come to the surface. We're seeing a lot of truth revealed. And we're starting to realize more and more that it is our responsibility to create the world. And that really boils down to how, like I said, we interact with each other as people, and the way we interact with ourselves and the way we interact with our environment. The way we see the world, our perspective on the world. And even if we don't have a sort of physical representation of the construction aspect, we certainly have an energetic foundation to slip into, so that when something's falling apart, we're in a certain space to create something, first energetically and then physically. So we might not have the physical structures that sustain us right now, but we'll have the mindset and the spirit set to do so, which is something that we're cultivating right now. An energetic foundation. And it is physical as well. It's manifesting mostly, I believe, with our personal relationships, or relationships and relations with people in general. I think that, just to bring up a couple different points on this, I was struggling a lot with myself last year. Some health stuff, I was kind of like experiencing allergies as a singer. That's really intense and something I'm still sort of dealing with now, but I was looking for a way to heal myself. And I came across a book, A Course in Miracles, which I certainly haven't read the whole book, but I got enough out of it to understand something really fundamental and something very profound, which is to forgive another. And forgiving another, that's a miracle, because you're offering them a divine gesture. You're offering them a healing, to forgive them. And it also took the emphasis off me. And when we're trying to fix things about ourselves, whether they're in whatever aspect, whether it's psychological, spiritual, physical, whatever, we become so just deep in ourselves that it was so refreshing to turn my focus onto another. And it's very true that to forgive another meant that a byproduct of that was that I was forgiving myself more and more. To heal another meant that I was actually healing myself, because the love I was giving another person was also radiating from me. So I felt in a place where I could give to another, but I was having a hard time giving to myself. But when I did that, it's like a handshake. When you're doing a handshake, it's like, who's shaking whose hand? You're both shaking each other's hand at the same time. It's just a handshake. It's a handshake energy. There's no giver and taker. There is just the handshake. And that's how it is with forgiveness and healing. When you touch another person, you're touching yourself, you know? And you also go, you know, in an intellectual way, well, wait a minute, I don't even know if this person is deserving of forgiveness, but they've probably done a bunch of shitty things, but I'm going to forgive them anyway. I'm going to forgive them. And I'm going to forgive even the person that you encounter that's a stranger and they're rude to you or something. Just forgive them. I'm forgiving the person before any words have even been spoken. I'm forgiving them. I'm loving them. I'm healing them. I'm setting the precedent. I am emitting that energy and they're walking right into it. And it's special. And it means that I too am worthy of it all. And you are worthy of it all. Everyone is. Everyone is. So I just wanted to share that in regards to how good it feels to offer that to another person. Because like I said, when you give it to them, you just give it freely. That energy is born within you from God knows where, but it's traveling out from you and therefore dousing you with that energy as well. And the same can be true for negativity, obviously. So another really cool thing about, you know, these new ways of interacting with people, these more aware ways of interacting with people. I was studying online. This woman has a YouTube channel. Her name's BK Shivani, and she's a Brahma Kumari, which is this sort of Indian religious philosophy. And there's a whole, it's called Healer Within. You should check it out. It's really amazing. But basically, when you're interacting with people, there's three things that could happen. You could react to what they're giving you and basically slingshot it back at them energetically. Or you could absorb the energy into your being, number two. Or number three, you can create a new karma. You could absolutely, in that moment, regardless of any previous interactions you've ever had with this soul, step into your pure being and give them love. And not only does it set you up for some good karma, but you're also immediately feeling the relief of love and the relief of pure being. And the thing I like about this too is it kind of pulls you out of time. It's non-linear. It's quantum. That's the beauty of like what we can get into here is I don't have to do something justified by my previous action. I could represent who I am energetically in any way I'd like. So kind of like, oh, I'm always grumpy with my partner. And then one day I'm not grumpy with my partner. I'm like, hey, I'm just going to be like, okay right now. And your partner might be like, what the hell? Who is this? That's you. You don't have to be the grumpy guy or the grumpy girl or the uptight girl or the uptight guy or the know-it-all or the dum-dum or none of that. None of that. You aren't defined by any of that. You aren't defined by that. You could choose exactly, energetically, right now, in this moment, bam. Right? There doesn't have to be a build-up. You don't have to nurse it out over time. It's very liberating. Because these bodies and these emotions, no one told us how to drive these organisms. Our emotions are so dominant, and The mind is so active. And the mind, it's so active that we don't even really notice when it's going until we start to create space in our lives and create silence in our lives. And, you know, the cool thing is when you create silence in your life, when you're doing the whole interactive volume thing, I guess we can call it, there's so much more clarity to it, you know? And just in general, silence is such a powerful thing. And it's definitely required in terms of like watching the mind and doing all this reflection and understanding how to drive the vehicle of our bodies and the vehicle of our consciousness. Because the mind is not bad. A lot of times, you know, we refer to it as monkey mind or the ego. But the mind, you know, your intuition knows when your mind is being used in a destructive way or a constructive way. Because our imagination, our mind is what connects us to the one mind. Our mind is what takes us places. You just got to watch where it takes you. And when it goes someplace that you don't want to be, your body will tell you. You'll feel it in your body. You'll feel more dense. You'll feel more constricted. But be patient, you know. Be patient with this process. And I think it's becoming easier and easier to see what we're really doing. It really is. We're all being gifted with an upgrade, and it's really quite nice. I'm very happy to be a part of all this. I think that's might be all I really want to touch on right now. I just wanted to say the obvious, you know, like the more beauty that you take in, the more beauty that you connect with, the more beauty that you will see, the more beauty that you will create. Think about what you value. Think about what you want to amplify in your life. Think about down to the very core of who you are. What matters? What matters to you? And interact with that energy. Interact and understand that that's eternal. You know? Like when I think about people like Martin Luther King and John Lennon, it's like the powers that be, the people that were so afraid of them, they ended a physical representation of that person. The physical body of that person, those dudes. But the energy that was pulsing through those bodies is eternal. Absolutely eternal. And it can't be filled full of bullets. It cannot be destroyed. Think about what energy that pulses through you, that is eternal, that when your body, you know, turns to dust, what about you will keep bouncing and ringing through this universe? Those energies that you're channeling and pulling in through this body, that exact sort of your version, your recipe of energy, you know, it's so beautiful to think about. That's another thing, you know, I'm glad I thought of about the turn to dust, because understand that when you're interacting with people, you might suddenly feel a wall go up. That's fine. But turn that wall to dust. That's impermanence. That's flexibility. That's a higher mind. That's a relief. Walls. It's like a knot in the belly. It covers the heart. You have the power to blow those to dust. A wall goes up, I'm offended. Oh, this guy's scaring me. Ooh, I don't want to do that. I'm scared of that. There's the wall. Whew. Turn it to dust. You're a magician. Turn that wall to dust. Feel your heart expand into eternity. Okay, guys? I love you. This is Sabrina. We'll talk soon. Bye-bye.